Today I have woken up and I have chosen violence. What's up, YouTube? Haven here. Today I have decided to possibly piss off a dedicated portion of War Thunder's player base by telling them some things they may not want to hear. Here we go. War Thunder should kill off Sim. That's the clickbait title and probably the thumbnail too, but hear me out. War Thunder currently has several game modes. I don't have exact statistics, but I can make a fairly educated guess that the most popular modes are ground realistic battles, air realistic battles, ground arcade, air arcade, especially for lower tiers, followed by just a slew of other game modes, with naval probably being in there somewhere, probably the top of the middle, and sim being towards the bottom. Of these game modes, ground realistic battles and air realistic battles are by far the most popular modes. Queue times are short at nearly every battle rating for these modes. But even with their popularity, they are not without their problems. Ground RB has a CAS problem. Air RB has a bomber and attacker problem. These are not the only problems these modes can have. They are just the most popular complaints found on sites like Reddit and YouTube, and generally some of the content creators touch on these things, especially the revenge bombing cast problem. The air realistic battle problem, where bombers and attackers generally have no real purpose in Air RB, making the mode just essentially a 16v16 deathmatch over and over and over again, exacerbates the problem in ground RB, where attackers find their place in blowing up player-controlled tanks. And it's fun for the pilot. Ground RB players call for a ground-only mode, which to me feels lazy as a solution. Would those same players complain about dying to infantry squads and still call for like a vehicle-only mode? In my opinion, CAS could be balanced through other mechanisms, but we can talk about that later. One of the more widely called for solutions to at least the air realistic battle problem is the reintroduction of Air Realistic Battles Enduring Confrontation, or Air RB EC for short. Attackers and bombers would have a purpose that doesn't involve pressing spacebar next to that tank that just blew you up. Low and middle tier American props would find their place and not keep sinking in battle rating. Broader strategies could be employed beyond climbing for 3 minutes while AFK and then fight fighters over the middle of the map, rinse and repeat. It could be a viable alternative to Air RB as it exists today. Stress on alternative. I am proposing that we keep Air RB, but we also re-add Air RB EC as a playable mode. But Haven, won't that split the player base? Maybe, and that brings me to my point. War Thunder should kill Sim. Wait. What does this have to do with Sim? Well, Sim, specifically Air Sim, is the place where Enduring Confrontation still exists and no one really plays it. Because the problem is that it's Sim. Look, I've been playing a lot of Sim lately. It's not fun. It's just the fastest way to get mission points. Can you find some enjoyment out of it? Yes, sure. It's not torture, but it's just, for me, the main way to get mission points. Now, are there people out there that enjoy Sim? Sure. But they are not War Thunder's primary customers. And to go a step further, just in terms of enjoyment, if these Sim players were being honest with themselves and were not motivated by research points, or mission points, or silver lions, I'd argue that these players would enjoy themselves more by playing other games like DCS or IL-2's Sturmovik Great Battles, or any number of simulation as a primary goal type games. War Thunder is not a simulation as a primary goal game. Sim is currently defined as like HOTAS, or like joystick and pedals and everything. Highly recommended. Full reel controls, no third person perspective, no indicators, and sparse lobbies. Because at its core, the primary reason why the air modes of War Thunder are successful and why that success has not been replicated by any other number of competitors has been its wonderful and, by the way, patented implementation of mouse and keyboard controls for aircraft, with the instructor doing a lot of the behind the scenes work for you. This control scheme lowers the bar to entry for casual players while still allowing for mostly realistic flight models and mostly realistic strategies by players to be employed. This scheme allows brand new players to point their mouse up and to actually make it off the runway in one piece. It allows the average pilot to actually hit their targets by providing a mechanism of minute adjustment to their aim without the need to learn and dial in on a joystick, something they don't use it. It allows you to fly a bomber, an attacker, a Japanese Zero, an American Mustang, a BF-109, a MiG-21, an F-14, and an A-10 Warthog all in the same afternoon and be pretty dang good at it. And this control scheme does not exist in Sim. Sim fundamentally lacks what has made War Thunder air modes popular. And so they're not popular modes. What Sim does instead is breeds bots, farmers, and others not actually interested in the game mode and are rather interested in what the game mode can do for their War Thunder account. I personally have been leveraging the PvE aspect of Sim for the super easy mission points, and frankly, this PvE aspect is the only thing keeping Sim from dropping off completely. Even at the height of this event, it is sometimes difficult to find a decent game. So this breeds another type of Sim player, and the ones I've been pissing off this whole video so far, the malcontent. And why would you be content with this implementation of simulation? The controls are a mess, the lobbies are full of players uninterested in your version of fun, the missions feel like a game that has just exited early access beta, and overall, it's just not a priority for the devs to fix your issues. You and Sim's issues are just a low priority bother to the devs who have other highly populated game modes competing for their resources and their attention. And that's why we come back to the title of this video. War Thunder should kill Sim. And it's not their primary business, and it's a distraction to their actual goals. The current implementation is unfair to customers who are actively seeking a Sim experience and is preventing Gaijin from actually providing things customers actually want, such as Air RB EC. Now, before you guys light me up in the comments, there is another possible solution to this problem. I just don't think that the War Thunder devs are going to be inclined to even bother considering it, but I'm going to throw it out there. My suggestion would be to implement an enduring confrontation mode where Sim players and realistic battle players could both participate. My thought is when you join the game lobby, you could select Sim or RB, and Sim players would play with the current Sim mode limitations, first person perspective only, full reel controls, no spotting, no map indicators, and realistic battle players would play with the current RB system, third person perspective, mouse and keyboard control, instructor, and spotting and indicators in the UI, and let them play in the same lobby. Now, that obviously puts Sim players of having a tough time of it, right? But the challenge could be rewarded with additional RP, silver lines, or titles, or other rewards, just like night battles are for ground RB. Maybe it would just be enough to lock sim players into full real controls and first person only, but allow spotting and indicators just like RB. I mean, I'd play that occasionally. Like that sounds like a nice compromise. And maybe this needs a whole other video. Let me know. But in closing, War Thunder should kill off Sim as it exists today. There you go. We're past the clickbait now. As it exists today, they should either fix it or kill it. And I think ultimately killing it and incorporating it into Air RBEC is the way to go. It's poorly supported, it's poorly implemented, it's clearly not a focus for the devs, and it is preventing, in my opinion, the reintroduction of gameplay modes that players want, because I think Gaijin is concerned about splitting the player base. They don't want to introduce Air RBEC, I think, because then you steal from Air RB, and I think they're just worried about queue time. I think they maybe are overly worried about queue times. But that's the crux of my argument. I think Sim needs to be revamped or killed or merged or whatever, and we need to get Air RBEC back, and probably that's where I would merge them. Let me know in the comments how much you hate me, how wrong I am, how much you enjoy Sim, how much back in my day. Just light me up in the comments, especially any mistakes I make in this video. But I think my core argument here is valid, and I think Sim being ignored and being relegated by Gaijin is not a positive experience for Sim players. And I think they need to make a decision as to whether or not they want to be DCS or they want to be War Thunder. And I think playing both sides is not a positive experience for any player. And I think truly, if you were to remove the rewards, nobody would be playing Sim as just as a fun game. So, yep, that's it. Catch me on the next one, guys. Have a good one.